There is a financial system running in the background of your life, a silent operating system that the wealthy understand intimately.
These videos are going around right now with over millions and millions of views. It's called Borrow Till You Die, and the idea is simple. Use debt to buy appreciating assets, borrow against them, never sell, and pass everything to your heirs tax-free. Some of what that video says is accurate, but the part they're not telling you, that's what's going to destroy you. Well, I'm a 25-year tax attorney, entrepreneur, and multi-millionaire investor. I agree. I've lived through 2000. I've lived through 2008. I even remember the 1987 stock crash. I've seen what happens when this strategy blows up, and I've seen it ruin people's lives. So let's talk about the real picture. There are really two versions of the borrow till you die strategy, and I see people are combining them online. The first is the real estate version. The idea is use other people's money, OPM, like debt, leverage. Any good real estate investor will tell you, you want to put in as little money as you can personally and borrow as much as you can to buy an asset. That increases your buying power and limits how much of your own capital is at risk. If the loan is non-recourse, meaning you don't personally guarantee it, it's even better for you. Before 2008, most real estate loans were actually non-recourse. Now, most loans are recourse, meaning if you don't pay, the bank can come after you personally. So the play is, you buy an asset, you get rental income, the asset appreciates. You take some of that equity and borrow against it to go buy more assets with more debt. And that strategy works amazingly when assets appreciate and income is consistent. The second version of borrow till you die is borrow against your own stock portfolio. Let's say you have $1 million in a non-IRA account. Apple, Google, Tesla, S&P 500. You go to your brokerage holding the stock, and instead of selling the stock and paying capital gains tax, they lend you $100,000 against your portfolio, meaning they hold it as collateral. Since you don't pay taxes on the loan, you get this money tax-free. You pay them back maybe 5 or 6%, and you never have to sell a single position. The benefit is you capture the upside of the stock while not paying taxes on the money you borrowed. Rich people do this all the time. It's actually a smarter version of the strategy than the real estate play, in my opinion. I'll cover why so many people are obsessed with this strategy. But first, here's the thing about debt. When it works, it's amazing. Like everything in life, when you're gambling and you're winning, it's incredible. But when things turn, it doesn't just gradually get bad. You don't get a cold. You get cancer and you die. I know that was traumatic, but I've seen it, okay? It's bad. The exact strategy the Borrow Till You Die videos teach created the 2008 real estate crash.
I think this is the most significant financial crisis in the post-war period.
Millions and millions of personal bankruptcies. It literally destroyed the real estate market. I'll give you a couple of real examples. I actually met someone recently who before 2008, he had 14 properties. He was always borrowing against one to buy the next. He bought asset A with 90% debt. Asset A went up in value, so he took the equity from asset A, borrowed the money, put it into asset B. Same thing, B to C. And then the valuations dropped. His renters couldn't pay their rent because they were losing their jobs. The income dried up. He couldn't pay the mortgages. He had to give back the keys because the banks went after him personally. And today, he still lives at home with his parents because he had to declare personal bankruptcy and he's still paying back some of that debt. I also have a personal example. My uncle, who passed away, had a lot of tech stocks and some real estate. He took a margin loan to buy an apartment his wife really wanted. And the market tanked about 7 months later, which caused the bank to sell all his stock assets to cover the margin loan. He was essentially wiped out. He couldn't close on the real estate. He lost his down payment. His wife left him, and ultimately it killed him. He lost everything because he margined his portfolio. If he didn't have debt, he could have just held the property and found another tenant. He wouldn't have been squeezed. But once every asset is tied to each other, once one property is in trouble, the whole house of cards collapses. But if the whole system can crumble when prices or asset values drop, why is the internet still obsessed with it? Well, the appeal is simply that you're using OPM, other people's money. Who doesn't want free money in their pocket? But the issue is that people are forgetting that you've got to pay these loans back. And there are very, very strict covenants if you don't. A covenant is a promise or a set of rules built into a loan agreement that you, the borrower, must follow to stay in good standing with the bank. The second reason the internet seems to love this strategy is that we've historically been in a huge growth period for real estate. Especially since COVID, real estate has appreciated 2 or 3 times from where it was in 2019. So all these people that borrowed money and bought assets have done really, really well. But that may not last forever. And the problem is a lot of young people have only ever seen bull markets. They were 12 years old in 2008. It's almost 20 years ago. So people in their 20s and 30s are like, yeah, everything's amazing. Let's buy. And I promise you, in the next 10 years, there will be a recession or a market correction. The market will drop 40 or 50% for a set time period. It always does. And these people who are borrowing irresponsibly are going to get wiped out. Now, to give credit where it's due, the video does get the tax part mostly right. And it's worth understanding because if you use it responsibly, you'll build a lot of wealth like the rich. And definitely stick around because I will cover the safe way to use this strategy. I said earlier that the biggest benefit of this strategy is not having to sell your assets so they continue to grow and you're not paying taxes on it because it is a loan. You can actually deduct the interest from your taxes so long as it's a business loan. The lender pays ordinary income tax on the interest they receive. So in this case, debt has very favorable tax treatment. But there's another benefit if you buy real estate. In real estate, more debt gives you a higher basis. In tax terms, basis is your cost in a property. A critical role in real estate is that your basis includes the entire purchase price, regardless of whether you paid cash or used a bank loan. Leverage. A higher basis means you can depreciate more, and depreciation gives you deductions that can reduce your taxable income. That's why you hear about real estate developers paying very little in taxes. That's not because they did anything illegal. That's exactly how the system was designed. So let me show you how much you can deduct each year. So for example, if you buy $1 million apartment building, scenario A, you pay $1 million in cash, your basis is $1 million. Scenario B, you pay $200,000 cash and take an $800,000 loan. Your basis is still $1 million. So in scenario B, you have $800,000 of debt, which gave you a tax credit for the bank's money and not your own. And yes, there's even more. The IRS allows you to write off the cost of a building over time because buildings eventually wear out. This is called depreciation. For residential property, the IRS uses a 27.5-year timeline. Every year you get to deduct a portion of your basis from your income. The high basis advantage, if your basis is $1 million, even if $800,000 of it is debt, your annual tax depreciation is roughly $36,000 just from this one real estate purchase. Under the OBBB, the one big beautiful bill we discussed, you can often accelerate this, taking 100% of the depreciation for certain components like appliances or landscaping in the very first year under certain limits. Now, there's another tax benefit called the step-up basis. Right now, if you die holding an asset, your heirs inherit it at the current fair market value, not what you paid for it. So if you bought something for $1 million and it's now worth $100 million when you die, your heirs could sell it for $100 million and pay zero capital gains tax. That's the law today. They don't pay tax on your gain. That is the beauty of the step-up basis. But people forget 2 things. First, your assets are still subject to estate tax. Right now, the exemption is around $15 million per individual or $30 million for a married couple. If your estate is above that, you're still paying estate tax on all that appreciation. Second, if this is your 20 or 30-year strategy, you're betting that Congress doesn't change the step-up basis rules before you die. And there's been a lot of chatter about changing them. So if you're planning on this, that's a very long, very risky bet. And by the way, if you're drawn to real estate because of the tax advantages, there's a much cleaner way to do it without taking on any of this debt risk. I just put out a full video on how to buy real estate inside of a retirement account, completely tax-free. No human exposure if you set up right. That means no tax on the leverage used, step by step. The link is in the description. So, who can safely use this strategy? What you need to know is that yes, the wealthy use this. The wealthy that are borrowing against their portfolios, they're not putting everything at risk, okay? They have $5 million, 10 million in assets, maybe they're borrowing 5 or 10% of the total value. They know that even if the market drops 30 or 40%, they're not going to get squeezed because they didn't over leverage, aka borrow too much. I personally would not borrow more than 10% of my portfolio or value of my assets. If you look at anyone who goes personally bankrupt or any company that goes bankrupt, it's almost always the debt that crushes them. Because if you have no debt, you can survive. Even if you're breaking even or losing a little bit of money, you can survive. You have a cushion. But once the banks are down your throat, you are done. I own 2 businesses right now. I have 0 debt in both. Maybe it's limited my ability to grow. Maybe it's conservative, but I have 0 stress and I run the businesses my way, not the way the bank wants. This country is one of the lowest saving rates of any developed country. And we've been told by everyone around us, spend, 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 borrow, 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 instead of save thoughtfully, invest patiently, build slowly. The best real estate families, the strongest businesses, they didn't get there by leveraging everything they own in 2 years. They got there by owning 7 assets over 10 or 12 or even 20 years with a lot more equity, a lot less debt, and a lot more freedom to survive a financial crisis. The problem with America right now is patience. There's no patience anymore. It's all about get me rich as fast as possible. And the reality is the rich people I know, the millionaires and billionaires I work with, they're not on YouTube telling you to borrow everything you have, I promise. They know this stuff and they're not sharing it. And that's why I'm sharing everything I've learned, starting from nothing to now being a multi-millionaire with investments in real estate, stocks, crypto, gold, silver, and private companies. I'm a libertarian and I believe we all should get the chance to build wealth. And look, I get why people are scared right now. Inflation, AI disrupting entire industries, economic uncertainty everywhere. People are looking for anything that feels like an edge. But borrowing against everything you own is not an edge. It is a trap. If you want to know which assets actually hold their value through all of that, the ones that have worked for centuries, I have a video coming very soon on the best hard assets to own right now. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. So when I hear someone say, borrow till you die, I say, you're right. If you borrow till you die, you will die in debt. The tombstone is going to say, I lived and I died in debt. Because debt is the one thing that can act like a tsunami and literally destroy your life. That doesn't mean debt is always bad. It's okay to have some debt. I have a mortgage, but it's always about moderation. You want to make sure you have cash flow, you have savings, and God forbid you lose your job, you have a cushion. Don't buy something you can't afford just because someone on YouTube told you
It's what rich people do.
Instead of borrowing to chase appreciation, there's a smarter way to build long-term tax-free wealth. It starts with understanding what you can actually put inside of a retirement account and using compounding returns to do the work for you instead of debt. That's what I do and what my rich clients do. And I'm going to share the best ways to grow wealth, control your own money, and leave it for your legacy all on this channel. See you in the next video.